You're watching the third episode in this series. It will have a little bit of preparation before paint, then paint, sealants and some final touches. The existing cedar columns are rotten and needs to be replaced. I'm using a quick square and a circular saw. When it was uncomfortable, I used the bar clamp to hold the quick square in place. This method allowed me to hold the heavy circular saw with both hands instead of one. I'm exposing and replacing only the bottom part instead of the entire frame, since I plan to add a lower column trim which will hide this visible cut line in the future. I needed access to the front blocked column wooden pieces, and anyhow I don't like the idea of having bushes close to the house due to their penetrating roots, which can damage the house, so I cut them. Now that I have access, I remove the remaining column wooden pieces and assess the damage. In my case, the main center column was not damaged, otherwise it had to be replaced. I tried gluing damaged pieces, but honestly, it didn't go well, and I just decided to leave it as is. If you do it on your own, a framing nailer is not the right tool for this job. I eventually purchased a siding nailer, which is designed for this kind of job. The framing nailer is just too rough and will split the gentle cedar wood. Also, if you use plastic wood under a semi-transparent color, make sure you sand it really well, and leaving as much as less of it on the covering area, since it is visible under the paint. Another point, the roller is not the right tool for this job. It is slow and drips paint constantly. A 5-inch brush was much more easier to work with, at least for me, especially on the bottom triangle part where two pieces of wood meet. I can now return the interior wooden frame which I painted in the previous episode. I installed Pela weatherproof tape starting from the bottom, then the sides overlapping the bottom, and finally the top which overlaps the sides. Some installers avoid putting tape on the bottom to allow trapped water to escape, while I witnessed on another window in my house the bottom part to be rotten since it was never sealed, so be your own judge. That's the siding nailer in action. I'm painting the frame with solid color and not semi-transparent, and while doing so I'm being very careful, and in case of error I'm wiping the damage immediately with some cloth. This step takes time and patience. A tip from my wife, I like: store the temporary unused brush in some plastic bag while not in use to avoid it from drying. I use doggy bags. It's good if you take a break or use multiple brushes, for example. For the column frame, which has solid color, it was easier and faster to work with a roller. For the soffit, I just push the roller harder. I tried painting the gutter without removing the old paint from it. It peeled in several really small places, but overall, this can work. I eventually removed the gutter and replaced it with a new one due to a different reason. You will see it in future episode. I used insulation foam because the gap next to the ceiling was too big for silicone to cover. Tried choosing silicone color which is closer to coffee, did not go well. I then chose transparent color which is white when applied and then after some healing time becomes almost transparent. I applied silicone everywhere around the window frame. When healed, I paint it. If you do it on your own, make sure you use paintable silicone. And now for the finale. Time taken, around 5 days. Cost for materials, around 300. Cost for materials and tools, around 1500. Thanks for watching.